All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're exploring a seriously breathtaking 138 billion year cosmic blueprint. It's a perspective that completely transforms how we see our universe, taking it from this cold, unfeeling machine and turning it into an epic story of purposeful love. You know, if you've ever looked up at the night sky and just wondered if there's a deeper current driving the cosmos, well, you are absolutely in the right place. So this concept completely shatters the traditional view we're so often taught. We usually get this illusion of a blind, ruthless cosmos, right? Just bound by cold chains of ice and fixed equations. But honestly, that view totally fails to explain our universal impulse for creation, or our deep thirst for beauty. The reality is actually much warmer. The absolute first cause of everything is what's called shimjung, or the cosmic heart. Think of it as an explosive, irrepressible motive to share joy. Heart sits firmly at the very apex of the cosmos. It's the prime mover, the true engine of universal force that literally sets everything else into motion.
And because of that, we're looking at a profound paradigm shift here. We're moving completely away from mechanical determinism. You know, that kind of bleak idea that society is just a giant machine and we're all just passive cogs trapped in some endless power struggle. No way. Instead, we're stepping into dynamic eternity. Because you're driven by this cosmic heart, you are actually an irreplaceable microcosm of value. Society isn't a machine at all. It's a connected body. It's a living, breathing, organic network, and its ultimate goal is co-prosperity and mutual completion.
This perfectly illustrates the strong anthropic principle, but we're viewing it through the lens of pure purpose. Think about the delicate balancing of dark matter and energy over 13.8 billion years. That wasn't just some random accident. It was actually a massive, purposeful incubator. It was this agonizing, incredibly patient preparation by a creator just desperate to welcome a partner of love to the Earth. It's like the universe is practically pregnant with life, just waiting for its ultimate object, which is us, humanity.
Okay, so let's move into part one, the architecture of eternal peace. We're going to understand the indestructible cosmic blueprint. To really wrap our heads around this, we have to look at the architectural mechanics of the universe itself. Like, how does that cosmic heart actually translate into an indestructible framework? Well, the secret lies in a specific glowing geometry called the four-position foundation. Picture this. You have the origin, which is shimjung. From that flows the subject, representing initiating energy, and the object, representing responding energy. When those two engage perfectly with each other, they create a synthesized body. And that structure right there, that is literally the indestructible blueprint for eternal peace.
Now, when we look at the cosmic scales of all this, we discover something really fascinating about our own role. The universe provides 95% of the foundation entirely automatically. I mean, physics, gravity, the perfect environments for life, that is 95% pure cosmic grace. Think of it kind of like the ultimate group project where the universe did almost all the heavy lifting. But here's the kicker. The creator deliberately paused there, leaving exactly 5% open. And that 5%? That is your autonomous free will.
Which brings us to part two, the human equation, and the really profound reason why we are all born unfinished.
So this brings us to the core paradox of our whole existence. Why does the rest of the universe operate so perfectly right out of the box, while we arrive seemingly incomplete? It's a pretty stark contrast when you think about it. A galaxy, or even a tiny spider's web, grows automatically via physical laws. But us humans, we are thrown into nature profoundly unfinished. We're kind of like a vulnerable seedling in a greenhouse. We have to bump around, collide with our environment, and learn and adapt with a ton of trial and error. But why? Well, it's actually beautiful, because the vital elements of true love simply cannot be automated. For love to be real, it absolutely requires choice.
And to fulfill that 5% responsibility of ours, we have to systematically build what's called the cosmic family. It happens in 3 steps. Step 1 is co-living. That just means ensuring resources circulate fairly, kind of like blood flowing through a healthy body. Step 2 is co-prosperity, which is all about establishing a horizontal governance based purely on love, ensuring there are absolutely zero marginalized neighbors. And finally, step 3 is co-righteousness. This is a state of absolute ethical harmony where we literally feel the pain and the joy of everyone else around us.
And that takes us into part 3, the ultimate teleological destination, a world of freedom, peace, and absolute happiness.
So what does this all mean? How does this massive 138 billion year journey actually build toward our ultimate philosophical ideal? Well, picture a radiant lotus flower blooming across the entire cosmos. That's humanity graduating from our space-time incubator. Under the irresistible magnetic pull of the cosmic heart, our advanced technology, raw nature, and the human soul all achieve this absolute, eternal harmony. The boundaries between the spiritual and physical worlds are completely overlaid, and all that dread and anxiety of the modern age, it's finally, permanently resolved.
Ascending to the first of our three pillars, true freedom, we see a totally stunning convergence. A human actually becomes Homo immanens, meaning a loving human or a second creator. It's like brilliant wings of starlight breaking through cold, dark boundaries. But here's the thing. True freedom isn't just doing whatever we want, whenever we want. Not at all. We only hit that golden ratio of true creativity when our 5% free will perfectly aligns with the unconditional love and strict ethics of the cosmos. That is when we break completely free from our own internal contradictions.
Then we have the second pillar, absolute peace, which is meant to be realized right here on Earth. Imagine a perfectly still, dark, reflective pool where absolutely everything is in total symmetry and harmony. This is a state where our minds transcend physical limitations to resonate in a perfect, conflict-free unity. That dynamic peace we saw earlier in the cosmic blueprint, it doesn't just stay a blueprint, it becomes a lived, breathing, everyday reality for all of us.
And finally, we arrive at the third and ultimate pillar, the world of absolute happiness. Happiness really is the ultimate emotional fruition of our whole existence. It happens when we experience the absolute, pure joy of loving and being loved in return. In a completed cosmos, happiness isn't just some fleeting emotion or selfish pursuit. It's this eternal, radiant state of being where your unique individuality is fully recognized, cherished, and completely synchronized with the infinite heart of the Creator. Honestly, it feels like stepping into a vast, breathtaking, golden meadow just filled with glowing cosmos flowers under a warm, radiant sunrise. This right here, this is the explosion of shared joy that the entire universe was designed for.
So, to wrap up this explainer, we really need to reflect on this majestic geometry of freedom, peace, and happiness. The universe has generously provided 95% of the cosmic grace over billions of years. But that final 5%, that is entirely in your hands. How are you going to use your free will to help author the completion of this 138 billion-year masterpiece? It's a huge question. Think about that, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.